The Mercedes-AMG GT has been out for about 6 years and it still gets everybody's attention. Its long hood, giant grille, and overall stance makes everybody do a double take, and that will be the case until the AMG ONE hypercar comes along. And until the AMG ONE and the AMG GT Black Series arrive, this here, the AMG GTR, is the most extreme AMG that you can buy. Today I will be giving you a tour of the 2020 Mercedes-AMG GT R Roadster, and then I will give you my opinion on what I think about this crazy beast. Let's do this. Now, usually I'll kick off all my reviews by talking about all the cool and interesting things that you should know about a particular car, but let's get straight to the good stuff and talk about power and performance, because that's what's really cool about the AMG GTR here. Power for the 2020 Mercedes-AMG GTR comes from a 4-liter twin-turbo V8 making 577 horsepower and 516 pound-feet of torque, and that's made it to a 7-speed DCT. And this engine is absolutely amazing. Now, usually convertibles are slower than their coupe counterparts, but not here. The AMG GTR Roadster will do 0 to 60 in 3.5 seconds with a top speed of 197 miles an hour. So yes, it's insanely quick. To launch control the AMG GTR, all you have to do is put it in race mode and put the traction in sport handling mode. And then you put your foot on the brake, accelerator all the way down. Oh my God. Oh. Jesus! When it comes to drive modes, you have the option between slippery, individual, comfort, sport, sport plus, and race, but that's not where the customization stops. Now, most cars have an individual or custom mode where you can go and customize a lot of the aspects of the car to your personal liking. But in the AMG GTR, no matter what mode you're in, you can go through and customize anything you want. So say you're in race and you don't want a really stiff suspension, you can put that in comfort. You can pick the transmission from automatic to manual, and you can change the traction as well. Now, I'm probably not even getting to the half of the ways you can customize this thing, but the AMG GTR has something called AMG Dynamics, and in there you have the options to pick between basic, advanced, pro, and master. That's right, there's a level that's higher than pro, and that makes you the master. Now, if that's not enough customization for you, there are 9 levels of traction control in here, which is absolutely insane. If you end up buying the AMG GTR Coupe, you'll get a bright yellow button which lets you control those 9 different levels of traction control, but I'm guessing on the Roadster they needed the placement here for the air scarf and other buttons, so they just put it in the steering wheel right here, which is still a very cool placement, but I like that bright yellow button because that's the first thing you see when you hop into the interior of the coupe AMG GTR. So in the AMG GTR Roadster, once you fully turn off traction, the knob will appear right here on the steering wheel, and you can circle through 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, which is completely off, and you'll get a nice little display on the gauge cluster too to let you know how crazy you're about to get. Now, if you're worried about fuel economy in one of the most expensive Mercedes-AMG models, you probably shouldn't buy this. You get 15 city, 20 highway, you have a 19.8 gallon tank capacity. I'm averaging, after a few days of aggressive driving, 10.5 miles a gallon. That's amazing. Psych. Now that we've gotten all of the cool performance things out of the way, let's check out a few more cool things about the AMG GTR that are not related to performance. Well, kind of. Now, one of the coolest things about the AMG GTR are these LCD screen buttons, and they will adjust depending on the setting that you're changing. You can see the display just switching around, showing you all the different options that you have. I love how they prioritize the performance buttons to the left near the driver, and the volume button is all the way up here. To change the volume, you got to reach there. It's not that far, but it's kind of annoying. Now, messing around with all those buttons in the center console does require you to take your attention off the road, so Mercedes-Benz thought of that and put a lot of the controls right here in the steering wheel, so you can adjust your drive modes through the right dial here. And in fact, you can adjust a lot more through these screens here than you can from the center console. That's very cool. You can just select the item that you want to change and then adjust it just like that. That's very cool. And obviously, since this is a convertible, we have to watch the top go up and down. Unlike other convertibles, you cannot take the top down or put it back up while you're driving. You have to be fully stopped, foot on the brake, and that's the only way you can put the top down or put it back up. Let's get into the pricing details. Now, the AMG GTR here is the most extreme Mercedes AMG GT you can buy until the AMG GT Black Series comes along, and pricing for the AMG GTR Coupe starts right under $163,000. The AMG GTR Roadster starts right under $190,000. As tested here, you're looking at over $210,000. Wow. So why does this one here cost so much? Well, Mercedes-Benz is only making 750 units of the AMG GTR Roadster worldwide. So they're pretty exclusive, but let's break down the pricing on this one here. All right, so let's get into it. My test model here has the Designo Brilliant Blue Magnum Matte Style paint. I don't know if that's how you pronounce Designo, but that's how I pronounce it. The saddle brown Napa leather and the AMG carbon fiber trim all cost $3,950. The AMG carbon fiber package that gives you carbon fiber basically everywhere you can imagine will cost you a crazy $5,300. The amazing Burmester sound system will run you $4,500, and if you're a big sound aficionado, I highly recommend it. It's a crazy good sound system. My test model also comes with a convenience package for $1,300, and that adds keyless go, power folding mirrors, garage door openers, and AMG logo projectors on the side mirrors. I don't know why a lot of those things aren't just standard on a car that costs more than $210,000, but hey, it'll cost you $1,300. Now, if you want some driver assist features, you will have to pay extra. You get blind spot and lane keep assist for $875, and adaptive cruise control will run you $2,250. And finally, add on the car cover, destination charges, and a gas guzzler tax, and you're looking at an AMG GTR Roadster that will run you over $210,000. Let me know in the comments section below if you would shell out $210,000 on an AMG GTR Roadster as equipped here. Now let's take a closer look at the exterior design, because this thing is absolutely gorgeous, and no matter what anybody says, this thing will turn heads everywhere you go. If you know me by now, I'm not a huge fan of convertibles, but I have to say the AMG GTR Roadster here is definitely one of my favorite looking convertibles out there. It's very stylish, very aggressive. I like it a lot. The soft top here can be had in 3 color choices, including black, which is the one you see here, red, and beige. I think this color would look so boss with a red top. Everything about this car just screams mean and tough. First of all, it's super low. It's very scary to drive, so you have to be very careful. Now, the easiest way to tell a non-AMG GTR apart from a real AMG GTR is to just look at the spoiler back here, or you can look for the yellow R in the badging in the back. Of course, there are a lot of design elements here that contribute to the performance of the AMG GTR. And if you want to go through them in a little bit more detail, check out the link that's popping up in the top right corner right now. You'd probably rather hear about the aerodynamics and other things about this car from a real Mercedes-AMG engineer than me, so click that link. It's a very cool video. Now, before we move on from the exterior design, I just want to point out some of my favorite design details. The headlamps and the taillights on the AMG GTR are spectacular and have a very cool design to them. They're definitely one of my favorite Mercedes-Benz light designs for sure. Now, when it comes to the wheels, you have 19-inch wheels on the front and 20-inch wheels on the back, and you have a total of 3 design choices. None of them cost extra. Personally, I would go with the one seen right here on my test model. Now, check out this little cool carbon fiber fin. I think that looks really cool. Honestly, I love giant spoilers. I don't know who doesn't like giant spoilers. This one here looks really cool, and of course, this is the most extreme AMG model out there, so it needs to have a giant spoiler. So let's say that you're looking to make the AMG GTR Roadster here your daily driver. You probably want to know about cargo capacity. Let's pop the trunk by using the key here, and you have 5.8 cubic feet. So if you do a lot of driving and you carry a lot of things, this probably isn't the right car for you. You might want to go for the Coupe, which has like 10 cubic feet. The Roadster back here, pretty small. Next up, let's hop inside the new 2020 Mercedes-AMG GTR Roadster, because just like the outside, the inside is absolutely beautiful. Getting in and out of the AMG GTR can be a little bit of a challenge if you're about 6 foot tall. I'm sure it's difficult in the Coupe, but in the Roadster, you could just put the top down and hop right in. Now, everything in here is wrapped in Napa leather. I love these AMG Performance seats. They're very nice, and you can adjust them to grip you really tight when you're going crazy on the track. But I can't imagine taking this car for a very long drive because it is pretty stiff, even when you're in comfortable mode. You get standard heated and cooled seats, but why wouldn't you? Because this car costs over $210,000. But here are a few things you don't get for $210,000. You don't get a heated steering. You don't get ambient lighting, and you don't get a wireless charger. You also don't get a touchscreen display. In fact, this isn't the new MBUX infotainment system here. This is just a cooler version of the Mercedes-Benz command system housed in a 10.25-inch display that you control through the rotary knob here. It's the same system that you saw on the G63 that I just reviewed. So if you want a deeper dive into this infotainment system and the functionality of it, check out my AMG G63 review. Link is in the description below or popping up in the right-hand corner right now. But don't sweat it too much. You do get standard Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, and you also get the native command navigation system. So it's not that bad. And just like most Mercedes-Benz models, you do get a digital instrument gauge cluster display, and you can customize through some design themes over here and circle through some options. The design themes include Super Sport, which is when you're really going crazy in the AMG GTR, just Sport when you're really going fast on the highway, and Classic, which is the classic Mercedes-Benz design theme. Very cool. I like this gauge cluster a lot, but I do love the MBUX infotainment system more because it works perfectly in conjunction with the center display, and the overall infotainment system is just outstanding. Overall, the interior isn't bad at all because you're going to be focused more on driving this car than messing around with the technology in here. But I do wish that for $210,000, it had the amazing Mercedes-Benz ambient lighting system, a wireless charger, and I really wish it had the MBUX infotainment system because that system is definitely the best when it comes to the luxury segment. Now, before I move forward and give you my opinion on how it is to drive this thing, let me point out a few random things that I always love to show you guys. You have two cup holders, and you actually have an ashtray just in case you decide smoking with the top down. And here is how the door open and close sounds on the 2020 Mercedes-AMG GT R Roadster. From the outside and from the inside. Of course, it's pretty solid. And last but not least, let's hear how the horn sounds on the 2020 Mercedes-AMG GTR. It has authority and it's pretty solid. And now that I've given you a tour of the 2020 Mercedes-AMG GT R Roadster, let me give you my opinion on the most extreme AMG that you can buy right now. Let's get to it. This thing here makes a crazy 577 horsepower, but somehow that's not enough for a lot of people out there. So there is an AMG GT Black Series on the way, making 720 horsepower. I don't know who needs that much power, but I'm sure there's some kind of demand for it, otherwise they wouldn't be making it. But for now, the most extreme AMG will send you from 0 to 60 in 3.5 seconds with a top speed of 197 miles an hour, which you'll probably never hit unless you're on a track, hopefully. Personally, the AMG GTR here is plenty fast for me. In fact, the regular AMG GT or GTC are plenty fast for me. But this one here, the GTR, is just a little bit more rougher, tougher, and aggressive, and has a very rough ride, but it's meant for the track. It's meant to do some extreme driving. Not to mention, it's very exclusive. Mercedes will only be making 750 units of the AMG GTR Roadster here. So if you want to be exclusive and set yourself apart from the crowd, this is the one to get. If you're in the market for a muscular, rough, and tough sports car, definitely check out the Mercedes-AMG GTR. And if you like a little bit more pain and danger, hang on for the AMG GT Black Series or the AMG ONE hypercar. Either way, thanks for watching. I'll see you next week. Make sure you hit subscribe. Make sure you follow me on Instagram at Omar Drives. Make sure you leave a comment, hit the like button. I'll see you next week. Take care. Peace. I just dropped stuff while I was accelerating. Jesus. Oh, it sounds so good.